and welcome back to Lessons from Living. If you've been with me for a while, you know that at the end of every conversation, I always ask my guest to share their greatest life lesson, the one truth that stands out after all they've been through. And it occurred to me recently, I've asked this question probably over 60 times now, but I've never actually answered it myself. So today, I thought it would be fun to share with you the life lesson that has stood out most clearly in my own journey so far. After all, it is a journey, so these things evolve and change. Here it is. Loving each other well makes every life better. Now, that may sound simple, maybe even idealistic, but stay with me because I believe it's also the most practical truth I know. You know what's funny? Several weeks ago, I did an episode on the loss of civility. And when I went to do this one on my life lesson, I found that in many ways they mirrored each other. See if you notice. And I think that's because in a lot of instances, the words civility and love can be interchangeable. And achieving a solution for both can be similar. So let me know if you notice that and see what I'm talking about. Well, let's consider where love has broken down. We don't have to look far to see the cracks in our society where love is missing. In politics, conversations quickly devolve into shouting matches, labels, and contempt. Families are broken apart over differences of opinion. We recently had a 30-year friendship put on ice, all because of political differences. It's entirely baffling to me. But if we were committed to loving each other above all else, even when we disagree, we'd listen differently. We'd treat people with respect. We'd have the courtesy to take a breath, to pause and consider how our words might be affecting those around us. Consider crime. At the root, crime is about disregarding the dignity of another person. It's about disregard for another's possessions, their wellness, and sometimes even their very lives. But if we could raise children to love, to value others as much as themselves, they would be unable to disregard even another's feelings, much less their lives. Consider war. Nations go to war over power, land, resources, pride. But imagine if leaders truly loved not just their own people, but also those on the other side, all humanity. Wars wouldn't even be an option. And then there's the everyday stuff. On roadways, lack of courtesy, impatience, anger. Often no acknowledgement that there is actually another human being in the vehicle that they are operating, often within arm's reach. It has happened to myself and some of my children that episodes of aggression where drivers will use their 2-ton vehicle as a weapon, attempting to frighten or threaten another driver because of some perceived slight. It is really reaching dangerous levels, and it's happening enough that I don't think these are isolated incidents. You know, social media is often blamed for a lot of society's ills, but in this case, where people so casually tear each other down from behind screens, this is one arena where I think the blame is deserved. In workplaces, often competition trumps compassion. In families, impatience, selfishness, lack of interest in cultivating understanding of each other's differences, this all slowly erodes trust. And every breakdown at some level is a breakdown of love. But here's the flip side. Love is powerful enough to mend all of that. We know God is love, And God has the power to end anything, mend anything and everything. Love makes us see the person instead of the stereotype. Love restores dignity where it's been lost. Love has this ripple effect. It inspires others to respond in kind. And love isn't weak or sentimental. It's courageous. It's practical. It's what keeps communities safe, families healthy, and individuals hopeful. I'm reminded of something Mother Teresa once said. If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. That's it, isn't it? We belong to each other. If we truly lived like that, so many of our issues would naturally resolve. So, how do we actually live this out? How do we bring love back into a world that feels loveless? I think we each need to bear some responsibility for returning love to all arenas of life. Let's think about starting small, like a smile at a stranger, a kind word to a cashier, a little patience in traffic. Tiny acts that say, I see you. You matter to me. In our own families, model love to your kids. Apologize when you're wrong. Teach them empathy by encouraging them to imagine how someone else feels in this same situation. If I were raising kids today, I would think long and hard about when to expose them to screens and then ultimately phones. I think they need to see real faces instead of images of faces. They need to have actual exposure to humanity instead of being separated from a human experience by a machine. In conflict, we could try curiosity instead of defensiveness. Ask, help me understand why you feel that way, instead of jumping to win the argument and being focused on being right instead of actually listening. In our communities, volunteer, check in on a neighbor, give time to someone who needs it. I know how hard it is to make time for anything beyond work and taking care of family needs. I know how hard it is. We have been leading a community group for several years now, and there is no doubt about it. There is a time commitment required. But there is something irreplaceable about rubbing shoulders with actual humans on a weekly basis and sharing struggles and stories heart to heart. In today's world, particularly with so many people working remotely, a large percentage of our population can go days or even weeks without being face to face with another human being. And as a result, our humanity toward each other suffers. Online, use your platform to encourage instead of criticize. Choose not to be a part of a machine that feeds and celebrates negativity. None of these things will change the whole world overnight, but they do change your world, and they ripple outward in ways you may never see or realize. Now, I know this sounds idealistic, maybe even naive. You might be thinking, that's not how the world works. And you're right. It often doesn't. But here's my question. What's the alternative? Do we just accept more division, more aggression, more violence, more loneliness? I don't think so. I don't want that. We can't fix everything, but we can make a conscious, intentional decision about how we choose to live our lives. And every time we choose love, we make the whole world a little more whole. For me, this lesson comes from both small and big moments. I think about conversations where someone showed me kindness instead of judgment, and it changed everything. I think about times when I fell short, when I didn't respond with love, and I saw the damage it caused. I'm still learning, just like everyone else. But the older I get, the more convinced I am. Loving each other well makes every life better. So here's my challenge for you today. Commit one act of love, just one. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but imagine the ripple effect if every single one of us did that today. Today, tomorrow, and the next day. Friends, thank you for letting me share my own life lesson with you. I'm so grateful for this community and for the chance to keep learning alongside you. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a quick review. It helps others find the show and lets me know what matters to you. Thank you for helping Lessons from Living reach more listeners. Since I mentioned Mother Teresa earlier, let's leave today with her words. People who love each other fully and truly are the happiest people in the world. They may have little, they may have nothing, but they are happy people. Everything depends upon how we love one another. Go out today and spread some love.